Coming up on CTV News. Where were you at during the solar eclipse?
People from all over the county are here getting ready to see the 2024 solar eclipse. It's coming up on CTV News.
Coming up, it's Sine Die in Annapolis. We'll hear from lawmakers about some of the top issues on the last day of the session.
And do you have what it takes to play for the NFL? Those stories and more, up next.
A rare celestial event cast a shadow over our area. Good evening. I'm Katara Jones.
And I'm Byron Scott. This is CTV News for Monday, April 8th. While it's one of the most significant solar events in a generation, over 30 million people across the U.S. were under a complete solar eclipse earlier this afternoon.
Mariah Jalad was in Greenbelt with some eager eclipse viewers.
I'm here to see the solar eclipse.
People from all over the county and the state are here at the NASA Goddard Center in Greenbelt to view today's solar eclipse. So Maryland is not one of the states in the path of total totality, but the sun will be covered at least 86% by the moon, making the sun just a crescent shape of light in the sky. Some are seeing and learning about a solar eclipse for the first time today.
I learned that it's the moon that's blocking the sun,
while others have seen the event before.
And it was a partial, and it got real quiet. There, the birds, I didn't even hear a bird, so I'm wondering if it's going to be the same way. So this ought to be exciting.
It's the last one for 20 years, and by then, I don't think I'll be here the next 20 years, so I wanted to make sure that I came out to see it.
we get these glasses and we can see it.
What do you think it's going to be like?
Really cool.
We have a lot of people here and everybody's real excited about it. I've already looked at it about 5-6 times.
If you missed today's solar event, there won't be another solar eclipse of this size until 2044, and by then you'll need a new pair of eclipse glasses. From Greenbelt, Mariah Jalad, CTV News.
A fire rips through a home in Bowie this morning. Firefighters were called to the 16,200 block of Penn Manor Lane just after 1 a.m. When crews arrived, they found fire coming from the second floor of the home. Officials say 1 adult and 2 children were sent to the hospital. 1 boy did sustain critical injuries. The fire is still under investigation.
And today marks the last day of the 2024 Maryland General Assembly session. Patricia Vallone has a wrap-up of the issues, including the 2 biggest bills to hit the legislature this year.
It's the end of the 446th legislative session today. We spoke with lawmakers about some of the more contentious issues that were on the agenda, including the budget and juvenile justice reform.
I had the unique opportunity of serving on our Ways and Means Committee, and the Ways and Means Committee is tasked with making sure we have enough revenue for our $63 billion budget. We considered a lot of proposals this year to figure out how we would meet those revenue shortfalls. Some of the things we considered were legalizing online gaming and allowing folks to put that on the ballot to see if our state wanted. That measure didn't make it through, but some of the things that did make it through was a small increase on our tobacco tax to fund our public education.
The fact that the Senate initially was not in tune with the House proposal. The fact that they came together and was able to find reconciliation is just overwhelmingly great, not just for the outcome of us having to pass a balanced budget in BRFA, but that it reflects unity amongst the chambers for all the Marylanders for our state.
A lot of fee increases this year, especially in the registration fees for gas-powered vehicles. I think we're going to see huge increases, which I wasn't happy about. To me, a tax is a fee. But from what I can estimate, it's about $450 million in new taxes on Marylanders. And to me, I just think anytime we need to raise taxes, we need to look at what we're spending. To me, it's not a revenue problem, it's a spending problem.
Juvenile justice is not quite finished yet, so we have one more push, I think, before we fully develop a plan over the summer to overhaul of what we're doing. But for the time being, we've put in place a number of changes this session that I think is going to lead to more accountability responsibility for both the adults who are supposed to take care of the kids and for the kids themselves.
Now the session officially ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. From Annapolis, I'm Patricia Vallone, CTV News.
3 of the governor's priority bills to create affordable housing make it to the finish line in the last days of the session. House Bill 693, known as the Renters' Rights and Stabilization Act, would help tenants know what legal protections they have under the state law. It also raises certain fees in the eviction process. Another bill, HB 538, would encourage developers to exceed density limits if the new development includes affordable housing.
We want higher density development we're at a lot of transit stops, and I certainly do in areas on the Purple Line in College Park, and the city does too. But you got to do it thoughtfully and carefully in response to the local area. And you got to think about it. That's why we have local zoning. That's why we don't have state zoning. And this can create problems, and so we're working together to try to get the bill amended.
The Senate did pass its version of the bill on Saturday. The House concurred with the amendments passing the bill today. The third bill, House Bill 599, would create the Maryland Community Investment Corporation. It would make loans or investments aimed at developing and improving low-income communities. All 3 measures are headed to the governor's desk for his signature.
And lack of accessibility has been one of the key complaints about the headquarters of the Prince George's school system. Legislation that would study the possible relocation of the site has made it through the Maryland House, but remains stuck in limbo in the Senate. Members of the county delegation say they hope it'll make it out of the Senate before deadline tonight.
I heard from so many constituents of mine of the accessibility of our Prince George's County Public School System's headquarters that's all the way in Upper Marlboro. And what we want to do is make sure, in this bill that I propose, it will create a feasibility study to make sure we put the parameters around it to make sure it's more accessible, it's transit accessible, it's environmental friendly, and if we build it in the next coming few years, that we build it in a way that it has the community's input. And so this feasibility study will do all those things.
And we'll have much more on the winners and losers of the 2024 legislative session throughout the week.
Police are investigating a fatal shooting that occurred Sunday morning in Camp Springs. The victim is 47-year-old Daryl Hazel of Suitland. Officials responded to the 6300 block of Suitland Road for the report of a shooting around 3:15 a.m. Police found Hazel outside suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. A reward of up to $25,000 is being offered for information leading to an arrest and indictment in this case, and anyone with information is asked to call police at 301-516-2512.
And you're watching CTV News. One of Angela Also Brooks' campaign offices is burglarized.
And David Trone is hospitalized. Those stories still to come. Don't go away.
We hear the stories of people forced to abandon their home. The stories of people whose dreams have been swept away, or their lives left hanging by a thread. Or whose worlds have been blasted apart. Although the stories repeat themselves, each person's experience is unique as they are. And whether it's care or community that people need, we're here to help them live a new chapter, to embrace what makes them unique, be a lifeline to the most vulnerable.
Out! Out! Everybody out! Come on!
Good job. Under 2 minutes.
Keep your loved ones safe from home fires. Practice a 2-minute drill until it's part of your routine. And test your smoke alarms monthly.
In America, millions of families are facing hunger.
After rent and power, I can get groceries. It's sad to say food comes last. Anna from Texas.
The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. Another victim of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore has been recovered from the water. Divers recovered the body of Maynor Swazu Scandival last Friday. He was one of 6 construction workers who had been presumed dead since the collapse on March 26th. In a visit to Baltimore on Friday, President Joe Biden said he would be fighting for complete federal funding to cover the cost of rebuilding the bridge. Biden also announced grants for workers impacted by the collapse and the close of the Port of Baltimore. Crews began removing containers from the crashed cargo ship over the weekend, which is progress in the journey to reopening the port. A temporary channel has allowed more than 30 ships to travel through the port since last week, and the U.S. Army Corps says they plan to have the port open to normal capacity by the end of May. And Maryland lawmakers are proud of the work being done supporting the bridge.
I had the opportunity to watch the search and rescue issues on the Key Bridge, and I am so very, very proud of my Coast Guard colleagues. Most people know that I served in the U.S. Coast Guard as a search and rescue air crewman, and being able to watch them do as I had to do when I was a search and rescue air crewman made my heart feel good.
A bill that will be on the floor today is the port bill. They will actually create a program for the people that died when the bridge collapsed, right? And their families and the victims and the businesses that are affected and people that are affected. It will create a program in the Department of Labor, the Department of Commerce. It will create a fund. It will create a scholarship program for the children of people that passed. So I am very proud of the work we did.
A debate between Senate hopefuls David Trone and Angela Alsobrooks was called off in a bid after one of the candidates is hospitalized. David Trone's campaign says he sought medical treatment late Saturday night due to hydration and fever. The event was held without Trone. That gave Alsobrooks an hour to directly answer questions from the audience. Seizing the moment, she told voters that she was the best Democrat to go toe-to-toe against former Governor Larry Hogan. The primary in Maryland set for May 14th.
The Alsobrooks for U.S. Senate campaign's Montgomery County office in Silver Spring was burglarized last week. The incident was discovered when a staffer arrived to work last Friday morning. The worker found his desk disheveled, campaign items thrown in the trash, and personal items stolen. The campaign office was the only place broken into in the building. The office of Angela Alsobrooks says surveillance cameras are being installed to increase safety.
And a Bladensburg man has been arrested and charged with murder after his mother's handcuffed body was found inside their apartment. He's been identified as 51-year-old Reginald English. English is accused of killing 72-year-old Lorena Royster. Police were called to a home on the 4100 block of 53rd Place for a welfare check just after 11 o'clock last Wednesday night. Royster was found with a handcuff on her wrist and had a stab wound to her neck. Investigators say they found a pocket knife, box cutter, and screwdriver in the bedroom where the body was discovered. English is charged with first and second-degree murder.
Still to come on CTV News, a local company hands out big bonuses, but the company is struggling to get out of debt.
And do you have what it takes to make the band? Don't go away. We're back just a bit. Stay tuned.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. He asked all his therapists to help him undertake some of the house chores There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Okay.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Welcome back. The Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division in the Maryland U.S. Attorney's Office today hosted a community conversation on civil rights issues. The U.S. Attorney for Maryland, Eric Barron, says that protecting people's civil rights is a priority of his office and the DOJ.
Protecting people's civil rights is a top priority of the United States Department of Justice and a top priority of my office. And if we're going to adequately do that, then we need to get out there to the people and have these conversations. We need to do this kind of outreach to educate the public about who we are, what we do, and how important it is to partner with us and how important it is for people to report things if they happen.
If you or someone you know believes that civil rights have been violated, you can visit civilrights.justice.gov to file a complaint.
Meantime, a local business is paying millions of dollars in retention bonuses to its leadership, despite the fact that the company is millions of dollars in debt. According to reports, the company 2U Inc. paid its CEO, Paul Lige, a retention bonus worth $2.3 million. The group's chief financial officer, Matt Norden, will receive $1.2 million. However, these bonuses come at a time where the company is working to cut costs and pay off more than $377 million in term loans. The organization is an online education firm that is based in Lanham, and in order for the executives to keep the money, they will need to stay on the company through June 30th of 2025.
Well, the Washington Commanders football team is looking for a few good men and women to march on the gridiron. Dozens of musicians turned out this past weekend to audition for the team's marching band. It is the tick-tock metronome sound of a marching band tryout. But this isn't just any old tryout. It is for the Washington Commanders football team.
We're the oldest marching band in professional sports, and we're one of only 2 teams in the NFL that still have a marching band. Interestingly, it's us and the Ravens just up the road here, and it's such a source of pride.
About 100 musicians turned out for the 2 days of tryouts. The team is looking for saxophone players, trumpeters, trombonists, and drummers, among others, and all must be able to march. Aaron Reed at the Wright learned about the tryouts from his mom.
I just love performing. I just love being in a marching band uniform.
It means everything to me. I love being here. I love every second that I spend here. Whether I'm on the practice field or at Commander Stadium, I'm in my element. And I look forward to every time I get to come out here, whether it be a practice or a game day.
Backwards left, hold for 4.
Prospective band members who made it past the instrumental audition stage were invited back for the marching audition.
Everybody that I've talked to that's a part of this group really enjoys it. They feel like it's kind of just the right balance of a commitment and fun, and they enjoy getting to go to the games. They enjoy, getting to wear the Commanders uniform and the swag and everything about it. Just, it's a fun time and a really great use of their time.
It's great to be part of an organization with a long history of supporting music and the arts, and it's great to see the games and get tickets for my friends to see the games too.
Those selected will play at all Commanders home games and community events around the DMV.
Right, this year we're going to have 52 pieces of music, so it's a lot of music for them to learn. We rehearse weekly, one night a week, and then generally on game weeks we might have an additional. And like you said, lots of appearances in the community. We do lots of parades, we do lots of corporate functions.
And don't go away, we're headed toward a beautiful weather week.
And Simon will be with us with some Washington Commander news. Simon?
What's up, sports fans? And coming up on your Monday sports page, Commanders players Jerron Payne and Terry McLaurin give their thoughts on the offseason moves the team has made and will make in the future. That story and more in a bit. Stay tuned.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Hey everyone, get excited because the time has finally come. The start of your Monday sports page. A new era of Commanders football has begun as the team has undergone multiple changes over the last couple of months. With changes in the front office, coaching staff, and player personnel, Washington is doing their best to build a team that can contend in the NFC. One of the leaders on the team, and defensive tackle Jerron Payne, spoke recently, and he's looking forward to playing with his new teammates.
Man, we got a bunch of change in. Like right now, I share lockers next to Bobby Wagner, so that's a real big name for us, big linebacker. It's gonna be fun, man. We got some good edge guys, some guys that can get after the quarterback. So I'm excited to see what the coaches can bring for us and like the schemes and stuff.
More changes may be in store for Washington as the team could be selecting their next franchise quarterback in this year's draft. And wide receiver Terry McLaurin is ready to lend a helping hand to whoever Washington drafts.
I'm just looking forward to whoever they bring in, kind of help bringing them along. Going into my 6th year, I kind of know the lay of the land and everything, and anything that I can do to help them become acclimated and be a part of our team, I'm gonna try to do that. So obviously I don't know, they don't ask me, and but my job is when they get here to kind of help bring them along as much as I can because, we'll go as far as the quarterback goes.
The NFL draft begins April 25th. Moving on to college hoops, the Terps men's basketball team will have a new player joining them this fall. Former Belmont University point guard Jacoby Gillespie has recently signed with the Terps. The Greenville, Tennessee native is coming off of a solid sophomore season for the Bruins, averaging 17 points, 4 assists, 4 boards, and 2 steals. And because of this, Gillespie was named to the Missouri Valley All-Conference second team and the MVC All-Defensive team. And wrapping up sports, be sure to go out and support your local high schools this afternoon as multiple lacrosse teams will take the field. Bowie will be at home taking on Wise, Parkdale will travel to Duval to match up against the Tigers, and finally, Eleanor Roosevelt will try and win back-to-back games in their matchup against Northwestern. And that wraps up your Monday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And now for a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 51 degrees.
Tuesday and Wednesday, the temps will be in the mid-70s with a 40% chance of rain. Thursday, that chance of rain increases to 90% and we'll see a high of 70 and a low of 55.
And now a look at our community calendar. April is National Volunteer Month, and the Prince George's County Animal Services Division is looking for volunteers.
The agency is having 2 orientation sessions on April 11th and April 20th. Those interested will help socialize, walk dogs, play with cats, assist with feeding animals, office work, and attending off-site events. For more information, contact 301-780-7200.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
See you tomorrow night. Good night.